Forward down the field, the Lions team that will not yield.
Well, it is week 1 of the NFL season, and it was a familiar outcome once again for the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell said in his introductory news conference that this team was going to take on the personality of the city. They weren't going to give up. They did not do that today. They fought back down 41-17 with 2 minutes to play. They had a chance to tie in the end, but they end up losing 41-33. Thanks for joining us once again for another Lions season. I am Ryan Slocum. This year I am joined by Eric Doyle. You may know him, longtime athlete, huge athlete in the Flint and Genesee County area. Played shortstop at Michigan State back in the day, and longtime head coach at Lake Fenton High School. Now he's over as the AD at Kearsley. Eric, thank you for being here. You are a lifelong Lions, whatever we are, sad sacks, glutton for punishment. I don't know why we hurt ourselves. You were another one like me. Here we are again, man, 2021, another new regime. The same result, although they did fight. But, dude, you're down 38-10 at one point in this one. Just an overview.
You've had enough of that shit, so excuse my language. All right? Here's what I do know, is that this team is going to take on the identity of this city, all right? And this city's been down, and it found a way to get up, all right? It's found a way to overcome adversity. All right. And so this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth. All right. And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right. And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
Before we break things down, what do you think today?
None of that matters, and you guys don't want to hear it anyway.
SOL, Ryan. Same old Lions. It's what they do. They did enough today to bring us back next week, and we'll tune in again next week, and with a glimmer of hope there near the end. But this is obviously a flawed football team. It's a flawed football franchise. We've changed coaches I don't know how many times in the last in our lifetimes of watching this. It starts off with some hope and then it goes away. And hopefully they can right the ship. And this, obviously you got to give Dan Campbell some time and with the staff he's brought in. But, it looked very eerily similar to what we've watched for a long, long time, Ryan.
Yeah, Campbell joins Matt Patricia, Jim Schwartz, Marty Morningweg in the last 20 years as Lions coaches to lose their first game, lose their debut. Now, I will say this.
There's no turds here.
Maybe some out there did have expectations. Anybody with half of a brain knew, hey, they tore this whole thing down. They traded Stafford. Yep. This is a rebuild. They're expected to lose here. They're kind of doing the Detroit Pistons thing here where, hey, let's try to get the number 1 pick next year and see what we can do. So not a ton was expected in this game, but you never expect, especially when the spread was 7.5, I think.
Yeah.
You never expect to be down 31-10 at the half.
No.
What you see there in the first half, man, it started well. They were moving the ball. One of the positives today, we actually saw a running game for the first time, and I don't know how long.
We did.
But then going the other way, man, they just couldn't stop them.
And that's been their MO. We won't talk too much about Matt Stafford as he's a Ram now, but that was the MO during his tenure here. What do you have, a top 10 defense one time in his career here?
Yep.
With the Detroit Lions? I believe it was one time. And we know in this league, you have your special ones at quarterback that can carry you, but for the most part, what you're going to see is top 10 defenses and top 10 running attacks that are going to play deep in the playoffs. And he never had one. We fell behind early 7-0 today and then put together a really good 12-play drive. I think 83, 86 yards, mixing in the run play action to tie it up 7-7. But then we got off script. We dug ourselves a hole. San Francisco answered. We turned it over. They scored again. And now here we are throwing the ball 54 times again. And it's just the same thing that the last guy had to deal with, that Jared Goff had to deal with today.
Yeah, and Coach actually talked about that after the game. He's like, I think I have the quote here. We cannot do that. We cannot throw the ball 57 times. That's not our game. We will not win many games like that. That is not what they wanted to do at all, but you have to when you're down that much. Another thing he said, our margin for error is so small. He knows what he's dealing with. This roster is not built to win. So anybody out there that thinks they're going 10-7 and whatnot, which is weird to say 10-7.
He's an idiot.
Right.
Our margin of error is so small. We have to play the game a certain way. That's the way we are built. We don't have the luxury of making the mistakes that we made. A lot of those came in the secondary. DEEBO Samuel is out there with that 79-yard touchdown catch.
Parents are probably
Did
idiots,
you
too.
coach against Aubrey Pleasant? I can't remember exactly what year you came in when he went to Montrose.
I actually came in at Lake Fenton right after he left.
Okay.
But I was around the area when he was there. I know his father Garner, great people. It's great to see Aubrey back with the Lions. He's just to watch his descent from Montrose to Wisconsin to getting into the coaching at the college ranks and then moving his way up it's really cool to see. He's got his work cut out for him, Ryan, with that secondary.
Well, and I know you were in and out a little bit, so you may have missed it. And the reason I ask is we know he's a fiery dude. He's been talked about for years for being a fiery dude. And a coach, dudes like to play for, but he was caught on camera after the long touchdown run by Williams. OKUDAH sits down on the bench. Aubrey is in his face, finger this close to his face over and over and over again. Do your job, screaming at the top of his lungs in his face. He then got burned on that 79-yard touchdown by DEEBO, and he just came over, put his head to his head, and gave him a hug after that one. But I wonder, I ask you as a coach, your thoughts on that type of coaching style. I have not seen a dude get in another guy's face quite like that in the NFL in quite some time. A lot of people were like, whoa, look at this guy.
Yeah, you don't see it often, but you know what? That speaks to Aubrey. And obviously he's comfortable enough with his relationship with his guys that he can coach them hard, and that they trust him. And that's what that comes down to. You can coach kids hard if they know you love them hard. It doesn't matter how old, and a guy could be 32 and playing. If he knows that guy cares about him, then he's going to allow him to coach him that hard. And that speaks to Aubrey and how these guys feel about him, that he feels comfortable enough to call him out and let him know that he's not happy with the way he's playing right now. So
yeah. Well, and then the next time he did come over and he knew, you know what, all right, he knows he got burned. I'm going to give him a hug,
Yep. It happens, especially in this league. And you leave guys on an island, you know what I mean? Even the best guys in the game are going to get beat once in a while. That's how it works. But, he was more upset about the run fit, missing a run fit than getting beat on a pass. You know what I mean? Because that's all. I mean, that's something that no matter what, he's coached better than that. And that's, I think, what Aubrey was so upset about is he misfit that and he can't do that. So
absolutely. Well, let's look at some of the positives first before we get into the negatives, because there's a lot of negatives. We mentioned the running game. First time, at least since Reggie Bush, that we've seen a glimpse of anything. Mm-hmm. And it was 10 years before that, before we saw anything. They went for $116 total, 4.8 per carry. You got to love that. The other thing they did, though, they caught a lot of passes. Now, this could be a positive or a negative here, depending on how you look at it. Because Goff connected with T.J. Hawkinson 8 times. DeAndre Swift 8 times. Jamal Williams 8 times. Your running backs and your tight end 24 catches. But you have to like that production out of those guys. They got Swift in space one time. He made a move, made him pay. That's what this team's got to do. The receivers, this is going to be a negative, but we got nothing out of the receivers.
Nothing.
It was all those three guys, but they did do a good job.
They did, Brian. And, I saw that stat. It was like 24, 25 catches from I think it was 25 catches from tight ends and running backs of his 38 completions, which, it's how we're going to have to play. Honestly, Hawkinson he's our one legit, I think our legit threat. He's the one guy we have in our skill set offensively of our skill guys that I think can play for any team in the NFL is TJ Hawkinson. I think he's a top 5 tight end in this league. DeAndre Swift, I'm not sure he's an every down back, Ryan. I don't know if he's ever going to be that, but he is a productive guy that I think with the right role can be a very, very serviceable or above average professional football player. But we have nothing on the outside, like nothing. If Quintez Cephas is our number one threat to take the top off the defense, it's going to be a lot of checkdowns to the running backs and tight ends all year long.
Well, and he didn't catch a ball until the very end of the game. And he's out there looking like Cirque du Soleil out there at the end of this thing, with his catches. But, man, they didn't even look his way till the end of the game. And Tyrell Williams, people are thinking he's going to be something. What's that guy ever done? And he's our number one guy.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
They got a bunch of guys that are 4, 5, 6 guys on a good football team. You know what I mean? That are fill-in guys, but they're not. The top 2 guys you split wide. At the X and the Z position, you just don't. So it's going to be a struggle because we're going to get bodies in the box all day long. We're not going to worry about safety help with those guys. They can, the really elite corners in this league will take those guys away, and we'll be running the ball against 9 and 10 guys in the box pretty much all season long. So,
does the name Trinity Benson mean anything to you?
No, not a whole lot, to be honest.
It meant nothing to me until I just read it here. Apparently, he caught 3 passes for 19 yards. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Caliph Raymond also had 3 catches. Who knew? The other big positive, I think, for the day, coming in, we find out Taylor Decker is going to be on IR, going to be gone a couple weeks, busted a finger, had to have surgery. That means N.A. Sewell has to move back to his natural position at left tackle. He hasn't played football in almost 2 years because he sat out last year because of COVID. He is the youngest player in NFL history to start a game at left tackle. He's only 20 years old. He's like a couple of months away from 21 still. So this dude starts over here, hasn't worked there all year. He hasn't played in almost 2 years. You don't know if he's going to be rusty. Oh, and you got to go against Nick Bosa now, who was the rookie of the year a couple of years ago. That could have been a disaster. He only lets up 1 sack. I thought he did a great job. And if this keeps up, we might get Wally Pipp's situation here. Hey, Taylor, you're moving to the right side now, even though we just signed Taylor to a big old contract, $59 million still left on his 4-year deal. So, man, but that's a positive. Even though Goff got hit 9 times, I don't think I don't think you can look at him and blame him.
No, he played great, Ryan. Honestly, he was productive in the run game, but he was even better with his pass sets. I mean, he was when you're going against Nick Bosa he's a top 5 D end in this league, and he did a pretty good job of holding him in check. And I was thinking the same thing as you said it. I think they think seriously about leaving Sewell on the left side and moving Decker to the right. I mean, the Sewell, if you're going to draft Sewell where you draft him, then he becomes your foundation up front offensively for years to come. And if you're going to do that, I say you plug him in that spot at left tackle and you let him go from there. If he, as the preseason progressed, I thought he got better and better. You know what I mean? He started to knock some rust off, and he was a bright spot for me offensively this week. He played extremely well. Hopefully he can build on that. But I do think there is something to be said about what you said there. I think they're going to think long and hard about leaving him on the left side.
It's going to be a strange conversation because Taylor is a captain. He has been here for a while. He's coming off a good season. He has gotten better as his career. I don't think he's a Pro Bowl player, but he's a solid left tackle.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting now because Sewell struggled on the right side. Now you're going to ask another guy who has only ever played left tackle his whole life. Oh, now you have to go over there? Well, he might have the same problem Sewell did, man. The footwork's backwards. Everything's different. So that's something to keep your eye on here coming about 3 weeks when Taylor comes back. Hockenson, we mentioned, 8 grabs, 97 yards, had the touchdown, had the conversion. And I thought the other positive was Goff did not look good early. He got hit 9 times, sacked 3 times. There's some throws he wants back. But I thought he bounced back in this game. Was he great? No. But I thought he played all right. I thought, given the situation, given that he has 0 receivers, I thought he did all right.
He did. He's going to have to bounce like a Super Bowl all year, though, buddy, because he's gonna be on the ground, and he's going to be in this situation where we're going to be behind, and he's going to have to play catch up quite a bit. But this is huge for him to see how he handles this year. Everybody knows what the narrative is on Jared Goff. Is he our guy? Right. Or is he a stopgap till the next guy? So, he's playing for his career right now. And he needs to prove that he's a guy, because I do think this is probably his last chance to be the guy. And he needs to prove that here. Because if it doesn't work here, I don't think it's going to work for him anywhere. He'll become a career backup after this.
Yeah.
So
he'll be one of those guys, 2 teams and you get pushed out, and that doesn't bode well.
No, it just doesn't. So, I don't hate Jared Goff. I think he's got some arm talent. People have questioned his toughness and his leadership ability. I think those have been the questions on him. He's got an opportunity to prove that here, because he can make this his football team, because outside of Hockenson and potentially Swift, he is our best offensive commodity. So, he's got an opportunity to prove his worth here this year.
Yeah, no doubt. How about the negatives? We mentioned the receivers are terrible. We knew that coming in. The secondary, terrible. We figured that'd be the case, but there's some young guys here, Warrior and obviously OKUDAH, who we talked about. There's some younger guys here. We didn't know, though, and it didn't look good today. Just any thoughts on those guys at all, what you saw?
It's just, OKUDAH, he looks the same as he did last year, Ryan. You know what I mean? He had his struggles, and understand there's such a transition. When you get drafted 3rd in the draft, he was the 3rd pick, right?
Yeah.
I think he was the 3rd pick in the draft. As the top corner taken, there is a lot of expectation with being taken that high. He obviously didn't live up to that last year, but that's not the first time that's ever happened. But you generally see a jump from year 1 to year 2, and we saw the same mistakes today with him that we saw last year. And this is a different scheme, it's a different coaching staff, but it's still the same player from the looks of it, and that's scary. That's alarming for a guy that we have that much invested in. So he needs to improve in a hurry, or he's going to be out of town soon. That's how.
That's right. It stinks.
Yeah, he may get the Tease Tabor Memorial Award on the way out the door. And when your next best dude is a Warrior. And some of the other guys, Tracy Walker and those guys, every year we keep hearing he's going to get better. Oh, he's going to get better. Not really seeing that so far. And then overall, dude, it ends up the Niners average nearly 9 yards per play today. Lions allowed the most points and the most yards in the NFL last season. Man, if something doesn't shape up here, I don't know that we're going to see anything different this year.
Someplace stinks.
They don't have a difference maker at any of the levels defensively. Now, they don't have a single one up front. They don't have a single one on the second level, and they don't have a single one on the third level. And you have to have difference makers, unless you have 11 solid guys, which we don't. No. You better have some difference makers in that group, and we don't. So that's, 33 points, regardless of how we got them today, 33 points ought to give you a chance. And when it didn't, because we gave up 41, that is the same old Lions, Ryan.
It is, man. And, you can sit here and you say Trey Flowers punched that ball out he did make a play at the end of the game, but over his 3 years here, how many plays has that guy made?
That was the one.
Yeah, right. And then, Romeo last year had a great year. Nobody saw that year coming from him, but 10 sacks last year, but you can't rely on Romeo Okwara to do that again or improve on that. I mean, that might have been an anomaly year there. So, those are the huge negatives for me as far as those go. Did anything surprise you today? Was there anything in it? Maybe it's the finish that this team full of misfits and who knows who came back. Did anything surprise you at all?
I would say it's that, Ryan. When it was 41-17, I'll say it. I don't want too much coach speak here, but they really could have folded the tent and said, "Hey, man, let's just pack it up and we'll move on to next week and let's go." But they really didn't. They fought back. Got an onside kick, scored, and to have an opportunity to tie that football game when they really, really got outplayed for about 44 of the 48 minutes. That says something. It says something about their character, but character doesn't win football games. Talent does. And we need to become more talented. Okay. So, at that level, we don't resemble an NFL roster yet, Ryan. And it's going to take some time. We have some guys and they made some plays today, but you can't, we're not a good enough football team to dig ourselves a 38-10 hole. So.
No, there were some positives. I mean, time of possession. First of all, the Niners gave us the ball immediately. Very first play, the exchange didn't go well. We got the fumble, so that helped a little bit. They lead time of possession 33.5 to 26.5, which is pretty significant. The yards are darn near even, 442 to 430. They did get 3 turnovers to the Lions 1, so that's pretty good when you look at these numbers. 31 first downs to only 21 for the Niners. So, you look at some of these numbers and they're skewed a little bit, but there is a pick 6 in there that changed some things as well. So that's kind of skewed. One other thing, and when the Lions, you can look at this as a positive or a negative. Coach talked about it afterward. He said going for it on fourth down on that first possession. He's like, hey, why not? We want to set the tone. We want to be aggressive. I like all that. But for the first time in my lifetime, the only reason why they went for it on fourth down is because they didn't have anybody that could kick a 55-yard field goal.
No, they didn't.
It is amazing through the years, and everybody says Calvin Johnson or Barry Sanders, and they're probably right. But our best player on average for the last 35, if not 40 years, has been a kicker, whether it's Eddie Murray, Jason Hanson, Matt Prater. We have always had a dude that can kick 50-plus since I've been alive. That's the only thing we could do consistently. We don't have that anymore. And you saw it right away when they went for it, which would have been a 55-yarder. And then the next time they go for the kick on 51 and miss. So then the next time down, they go on fourth again. They went on fourth 5 times in this game, which is a lot. I like setting the tone and whatnot, but dude, if you got that dude, we took that guy for granted our entire lives.
Well, we did, Ryan. And if you think about it, if they hit that 55-yarder instead of going for it on fourth down and hit the 51-yarder at the end of the game, they don't need a touchdown. They need a field goal. They need a field goal to win it.
Yeah.
So, that's honestly, that's too bad. We kind of got caught with our pants down a little bit there to cut both kickers and not have either one of them work out, knowing full well we're going to have an offense that's going to struggle to finish drives. Okay, that's going to be our issue all year long. So we need a guy like we've had in the past with a Prater or a Hanson or an Eddie Murray that we know is pretty much automatic that can get us 3. Yeah. 3s don't win you ball games all the time, but not getting 3s, those lose you ball games. So, that lost us a ball game today by not, 2 50-yard field goals at this level should be 75% or higher on average, between 50 and 55.
Yeah, you're right. So, 3 doesn't win you games, and Coach said that today. But you know what loses you games? 0.
Yeah, that does.
You never hear that part of the cliche. 0 loses you games.
It does. So you can't get empty. You can't have empty drives when you struggle that bad offensively anyway. So, but if they get those 2 field goals, they got a chance to win it at the end, and that's the part that they need to figure it out.
What and maybe I should have asked you this at the beginning, and maybe we've already talked about it. But what will be your biggest takeaway from today's game?
Kind of what we saw. It's we're going to have to utilize the middle of the field with our tight ends and running backs, and we're going to have to scheme offensively to get Swift in space. I thought Williams looked good today. He was a little better than I anticipated him being, to be honest with you. We're going to also have to stay on script even when things fall behind, Ryan. You know, we can't hit the panic button and throw the ball 57 times.
Right.
We still got to run the football because honestly, we know we're realistic, Ryan, and anybody listening to us is realistic too. And they're just as glutton for punishment as we are. They understand that this is a process. And in order to do that, we have to build a foundation and establish a running game and things like that. And we're going to have to do that even when we're down a score or 2 scores. We're still going to have to stick to the script and start to build an identity offensively. And it's not Jared Goff throwing the ball 57 times on checkdowns to our running backs and our tight ends.
Well, and to answer a question I asked you earlier, my biggest surprise, and I thought the offensive line would be the strength of the team. Obviously, Taylor going down, that changes some things. I was surprised they were able to run the ball as well as they did today. So that was a positive surprise for me. And my biggest takeaway is exactly what you just said, man. Wow. TJ Hawkinson, get ready for him to be George Kittle. Get ready for him to be Travis Kelce as far as the numbers go. Might not bust him like those guys do, but he may end up with 100-plus catches this year because they're not going to have any other choice.
I'll take the over all day long on that, Ryan. He's going to get 100 catches this year. He'll be a Pro Bowler this year. Basically out of necessity because we're gonna force feed him, but he's a good football player. He's a guy that can play for any team in this league. And I would love to see us get a downfield threat before he's gone, before we, that can take the top off the defense to give him more room to operate in the middle of the field. With him catching 9 balls and being the focal point offensively, that tells you how good he really is, right? Because he is their focal point in the pass game defensively.
Yeah, and everybody knew it going in, and he still did what he did today. Last thing, and this may be a stupid question for you, but now that we've seen a game, everybody, as soon as the schedule comes out, oh, what do you got? What do you got? It used to be 10-6 or 8-8. Now we play 17 games. Now that we've seen a game, any idea what we might be looking at? Because coming in, Vegas says they are going to be the worst team in the league. I think mostly are like 4 games is the over-under for them. Yeah. Man, any clue where they might end up now?
Playoffs?
Ryan, I mean, I think all the bounces our way. I think this is a 7-win football team.
We sucked.
That's best case scenario is a 7-10 football team. I do think Vegas is they have a lot of money and they have these big buildings for a reason. They're generally pretty good. It is a 4-win football team, 4 or 5-win football team. So that's but we knew that going in. I really hope we're not a 7-win football team. We're either a 10-win football team or 11-win football team,
right?
Or we're a 3 or 4-win football team. But no, they're going to be hard pressed to win football games, especially away from Ford Field.
All right, Eric. Well, I don't know if you knew this or not, but a little known fact out there that I was actually in contention to replace Alex Trebek as the host for Jeopardy. I was in that mix there. I didn't quite make it to LeVar Burton status, but I was in the mix. And now the job is opened up again because all this controversy and whatnot. So I would like to make another case here to try to get this Jeopardy hosting gig. So a little resume tape material here. You and I are going to play the game of Jeopardy.
Fantastic.
Yes, this is going to be great. We have the NFL edition of Jeopardy. All right, so here we go. Only one contestant, so you both win and lose, I guess, today.
We're Lions fans. We're used to that, Brian.
Yeah, you're used to it. So, get used to it, I guess. So, here are your categories. Teams that have won one playoff game since 1957. teams that haven't won a playoff game since January 5th, 1992. Pencils and ears. Coaches and kneecaps. Lions draft busts. And Eastern literature. Which way would you like to go?
Let's. I will take Lions draft bust for 200, Ryan.
For 200. Here we go. I was taken 3rd overall by the Detroit Lions.
Who is Jeff Okudah?
Oh, that's correct. Yes. Excellent. Oh, so you got 200. You're 1 for 1 here.
We're rolling. We've had a lot of them. I'm going to stick right in this category. I'll go Lions draft bust for 400, Ryan.
Lions draft bust for 400. The clue. I make DEEBO Samuel look like Jerry Rice.
Who is Jeff Okudah?
Oh, you got it. Holy smokes.
Oh,
there.
Man.
You were a 4-point, right? You were a pretty smart guy, too. We are seeing
close.
this here.
Pretty close.
All right.
Let's
again.
Stay right there. Let's keep driving that category home. Give me Lions draft bust for 600.
Lions draft bust for $600. The clue. My name is Jeff Okudah.
Do your job.
No, I'm sorry. That's wrong. That's wrong. No, that's wrong. The answer is Jeff Okudah. That would be the answer.
Oh, man.
Well, you've done great. You just lost the 600 you gained. So you're down to 0, but we're still going to let you play Final Jeopardy.
Okay.
And your category is Lions cornerbacks. That is, kind of similar. And your question or answer, I don't know how this works. I should be better at this if I'm going to be the next Alex.
Yep.
Yeah, I should know what I'm doing. Here you go. Your clue. I am the reason you don't take a corner 3rd overall.
Who is Jeffrey Okudah?
Oh, the big winner. The big winner here. Great job. Excellent job. Now, you lost your 600, so you win 0. But you were 3 for 4 on the day. That's 75%. Better than Mr. Golf was today. So,
absolutely.
Great job. Hey, man, I'm super glad you're here, dude. Hopefully we're going to do this as much as you can. I know you're a little busy on Sundays, so we can make a date out of this the rest of the year, man. Anything else that you want to hit on here before we go, before next week, and maybe this will be it. Next week, right out of the gate, guess who we have on ESPN? Monday Night Football, the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau. They're struggling a little right now as we are taping this, down 17-3. But, Aaron Rodgers, usually that's not the case when they're taking on the Lions.
No, it's not. He's a lion killer, as is just about any other quarterback in the NFC Central. However, stranger things have happened. It is going to be a monumental task. We'll be excited to see my boy Malik Taylor play.
Yes.
Another Montrose guy. I did coach against him, and he kept me up at nights. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be a process. I'm glad you had me on, Ryan. I'm looking forward to this. Talking some Lions football with my guy Sloke, and we're similar kids, man. We grew up and we've punished ourselves for years, watching the Honolulu and Blue, and here we are. They still bring us in every week. So
maybe that's the question we should have asked on Jeopardy. What is wrong with us? Why do we do this?
Look at you, giant idiot.
Because we're eternal optimists, I guess, Ryan. Because I'll tell you what, that parade someday when we're 87 years old is going to be something to see, man.
Yeah, but that'll be for the Pistons probably. Right?
Yeah, probably will.
Yeah.
Will, man.
Yeah, that'll probably be for the different team. Well, dude, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it, and can't wait to see you. I guess next time it'll be on a Monday. But, yeah, buddy, thanks for the time, man. We will see you then.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
Pleasure's all yours, Bucky boys.